And now,
Now three
I
pieces.
want to stop here, please. I don't want to go ahead.
No, no, no. You have to, because you have got five quality pacers over there, from
More
which
than
you have
five,
to
man.
select.
More than five, and need to choose just three. So, okay, on a very good day, on an absolute beautiful, sunny, bright day, I wouldn't go with any overseas bowlers. Okay, I might go with all Indian bowlers. That's what I am a fan of. Hello and welcome back to Silly Point. Today again we have our friend Rajat, who has committed with us to complete this series. So let's see how far we can take this series along with him. Hopefully he stays till the end. All right. So welcome again, Rajat. How are you today?
Yeah, I'm doing good. How are you?
All well, all well. Thanks. Okay. So today, as you can already see at the bottom line, we'll be discussing about Sunrisers Hyderabad, or you can also call them the Orange Army, and that's why we are orange today. Yes. So a few controversies to begin with. Let's talk about David Warner and Rashid Khan not being with the team, irrespective of their splendid performances in the previous seasons. David Warner maybe because the last season wasn't as effective, but why Rashid Khan? Rajat, I want to know your opinion.
First, talking about David Warner, like whatever went through between him and the management, I don't know what went through. Seriously, like even if a player like David Warner, who is having a season like that, what he had last year, which was by his standard one of the worst seasons. Okay, uh, even after that, I would say you have to back a player like Warner. You saw what he did in the World Cup just after the IPL. Okay, so if you have Warner, you have to back him, and he is the captain who has won you an IPL trophy on his own with the help of the bowling.
Hmm.
Okay, he has carried you to top four for almost 4 to 5 years in a row. And if you are like backing out from such a guy, I don't know what the management was thinking. You have to, David Warner has to be your first retention, irrespective of his form, irrespective of whatever has gone through with the management. He had to be the first retention. Coming to Rashid Khan, I don't know. Like, I think Rashid Khan said that he doesn't want to be retained. Maybe that is what happened because it is a no-brainer to let go Rashid Khan. I don't think any team in its right mind will let go a player like Rashid Khan. I don't think so because he is not only your best bowler. He is the best leg spinner going around in T20s currently. He is
Absolutely.
your he is your wicket taker, and on his day he can tong some sixes also on his day. And if you are letting go, I don't know what the management was
Hmm.
thinking. Like if I heard some rumors that he wanted to be the first retained guy, like he wanted that 15 crores,
Hmm.
and they were inclined towards Kane Williamson, like him being the captain. They were going, he will be our first retention. The only reason I think that they went in this direction because basically they wanted to start I think from a new point. They wanted to take their team towards something new, starting with young guns. Like even if the retentions, if you see, Umran Malik and Samad, so they are quite young players, and maybe they are trying to build up a core with those players. So that can be the only logical experience which I mean, going with the experience of
Yes.
Kane Williamson and the young talents that they have retained. So, other than that, I really don't know what exactly their mindset was behind the retentions.
Hmm.
But hope
No,
for
no,
the
fair
best,
enough.
maybe.
Yes. I think maybe you are right that money would be an issue for Rashid Khan, and that's why he wasn't retained. But anyway, what's gone is gone. Leaving those two players behind as well, what we see after the auctions is they have built a very strong squad. As usual, as we know what Sunrisers do, they prefer Indian bowlers and making their bowling attack look deadly. So whenever you play a match against Sunrisers, you never expect the game to be a high scoring game unless they are batting first and Johnny Bairstow and David Warner give you, both of them give you hundreds and they make like 250 to 220, maybe 220 odd. But other than that, if the opponent team is batting, it's very rare that they score more than 175, 180, which
Yes.
has been the case since 2016, I believe. And every team knows that. So if you're playing against Sunrisers Hyderabad, okay, 170 should be a good score if you can make it till there. Talking about that,
True.
again, considering the retentions and the players that they have got back into the auctions, all of them are the Indian bowlers. Well, not all of them, but major part, which
Majority.
includes a big name of Bhuvneshwar Kumar, which has been with the franchise for a long time now. Um, Other than that, one important name who has been very popular recently, that is Washington Sundar. Well, he hasn't got a few games for India recently, but again, we know what he can do and what damage he has done in the Tamil Nadu Premier League, if you follow it.
Yes.
Uh, he was that kind of a player, a Jack Callis for India, but a spinner version who would bowl the first 4 overs and he would open the batting for the team. That's what he used to do in Tamil
That's
Nadu Premier League, and he has done it marvelously. His performance is beautiful. If he's in his form, amazing player. So that's one thing, and other players as well. I think the bowlers, if you see, you have Shreyas Gopal, you have T Natarajan, and Natarajan is coming back from a surgery, of course, but then he is the deadly Natarajan. Come on, in the T20s, he also got the debut for India after the IPL previous season, and then he had to go through a surgery, so he wasn't available. But now, since he is back, he would be contending a spot in the T20 International World Cup, which is
World
coming
Cup.
right after the IPL. So he would be one of the players to look out for. Then they also purchased in the young gun Kartik Tyagi, the experienced Shreyas Gopal, and two specialist bowlers, especially the overseas players, I would say, that is Marco Jansen and Sean Abbott. If you see the social media page of Sunrisers Hyderabad, Instagram, Twitter, everywhere, they have promoted the
I
best performances of these players. So if you go and see Sean Abbott,
Bowled in! Maxwell knocked over by Abbott, and the stars are in all
As long as
sorts.
we don't take it too serious. And oh, good bowling. He's been
Bowled him straight up and down. He's been good tonight.
he has been brilliant on the field. He has taken marvelous catches and with the ball as well. So yes,
yes.
and we have all seen Bumrah and Marco Jansen. The rivalry in the previous Test match. So we are all aware about what Jansen can do as well. So it would be really difficult to choose the bowlers that we need to go along within the playing 11.
Yes.
But yes, some decisions are to be made and we will be making them. Do you
Yes.
want to throw some light on the all rounders, Rajat?
Yes. So as you said, the big name over there is definitely Washington Sundar, and I don't think we have seen enough of Washington Sundar in the last 2 years. He has been injured in that period of time, and also uh, he has been a bit unlucky during those periods. But we all know all what he can do. Like, he gives you, as you said, 2 to 3, even 3 overs in power play. He can give you 3 overs in power play.
Definitely he can, yeah.
Yeah, yes, and a person who is giving you 3 overs in power play and who can bat in top six, that is the what you say, uh, the quality you're looking in a player if you're making a T20 team.
Hmm.
So he ticks all the boxes for them, and spinners and sunrisers have gone way back. Spinner, I mean the bowling. Just saying about the bowling. So even though they have let go Rashid Khan, I
Hmm.
think Sundar, he won't be that what you say the wicket taking option for them. Definitely not. He won't have the Rashid Khan impact in the wicket taking factor, but he will bring in the stability. He will definitely bring in the stability. Like he bowls 4 overs, take 1 or 2 wickets, goes for around 20-24.
Hmm.
That is Washington Sundar for you.
Yes.
The second by the all-rounder section, I would go for Romario Shuffle. So
Ah,
that is pace battery. He definitely gives you 4 overs. Can bat at number seven, finish you games. He can like accelerate when needed. So say for example you are into 18 overs, you are somewhere around 140, 150. and in last 2 overs you need 20-30 runs, he can come in and take that projected 160 to 180. So those kind of players are gold in T20s. So he's definitely one of the major buys for them. And also the last year's all-rounder. I won't. He did not bowl much, but Samad, you can say he falls into the all-rounder category. Like
He
he
does,
used to give
yes.
them one or two, yeah,
Hmm,
one or two overs. Definitely he gives them. So and he can tonk the ball, and they have retained him. So that is another angle. Like they have retained him, thinking that he fills in the he's a kind of a three-dimensional player, as Ravi would say. He gives them overs. He fields. He's quite good in the field,
hmm.
and he can tonk them sixes. Like I remember seeing him hitting Bumrah and I think Bumrah. He hit him for two sixes last year or a year back,
Yes.
and even Archer. So he can
I-
like play weak shots. So that
yes.
is the added advantage. And along with that, yeah, so that kind of, those
Hmm.
three names, Abdul Samad, Washington Sundar, and Romario Shepherd. So
Right.
those fill in your all-rounder spots.
Yes.
And out of those three,
You can
yeah,
also involve Abhishek Sharma if you want, because he can, even
uh,
he can give you
yeah,
overs. And
he gives
yeah.
overs. He gives overs. Like
So if
I don't
yeah,
think, looking at the bowling attack, I don't think Abhishek Sharma would be needed
would
to
be
bowl.
needed, of course, no wonder.
I don't think so because they have got the main
Way
thing
too
over
many
here
bowlers.
is, yeah, the
Yeah.
main thing over here is out of the three all rounders option, two are Indian. So if you have that Indian all rounder, which is a very rare commodity to find,
Hmm.
one of the main reasons for the successes of CSK and MI have been their, all-rounders, and mainly the Indian
Indian
all-rounders for MI
all-rounders.
in Hardik Pandya. Okay, so if you can get Washington Sundar or maybe Samad to be in that middle order and give you, Washington Sundar will give you 4 overs, and if
Hmm.
Samad can also give you 2 overs, that is like you can take the game to the opponent's stand. You can keep
Hmm.
your best bowlers for dead bowling, and you can try out different variations in the middle overs. So and being
Of
SRH,
course.
we know that if they are bowling first, even 140, if they're sorry defending, even 140 is
Big
enough
enough
for them.
total. Yeah.
They can defend.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And they
so
have done
that's
that in the past many a times. Very true.
definitely yes.
And the most difficult thing this time around would be choosing the playing 11, especially for the bottom half, because if you see, they can go in with 11 bowlers, maybe 10 and a captain in Williamson, and even then
Yes.
there'll be a deadly playing 11. So it would be very hard to accommodate all the players who deserve a place in the 11. Um, well, we haven't discussed about the batsmen yet, so maybe I'll
Yeah.
throw some light over there. We have the likes of Rahul Tripathi. Oh man, that name, that player. Last season, it was Venkatesh Iyer, Nitish Rana, and this guy, Rahul Tripathi, who took
Rahul
KKR
Tripathi.
one way. Maybe at some places Shubman Gill, but then he wasn't that effective. You won't remember that name for the
No.
last season at least. But this guy, he has given you such elegant performances and at the times when the team needed it the most. So I'm a big fan of Rahul Tripathi. A sure shot position for him is he would be opening, because he has done that for Rising Pune Super Giants playing under MS Dhoni, and
Yes.
he has played at number 3 with KKR because Venkatesh Iyer went up the order and he was doing very well. So no chance of him going up the order. But again, a very destructive batsman. So Rahul Tripathi. Then you have Priyam Gurg, who has been a very good performer for Sunrisers Hyderabad in a few matches in the previous season. Middle order batsman again, so very handy. You have Kane Williamson, the captain, you cannot miss. Of course, he was retained, so he will be in the 11. Then you have difficult choices between the three guys. That is Nick Pooran, you have Aiden Markram, and you have Glenn Phillips. So out of these three players, all of them have a different role to play, and all of them can
Yes.
play at multiple posts, like positions, if you say. So it will be really hard to choose one and leave out the other Indian players who have been purchased. Of course, no bad blood with them, but if you have such a squad already, it is very rare that the likes of Saurabh Dubey, Shashank Singh, or Ravi Kumar Samarth, or even Vishnu Vinod might make it to the 11 for the whole season. And also, buddy, we forgot about Jagdish Sujit.
Yes,
Uh,
yes,
Again, a spin bowling all rounder. So there is a lot of variety in this squad. Would be amazing to see what they bring in into their 11. Okay, enough
definitely.
of discussing about the players. Maybe let's move on to. I'll ask you maybe about the top four overseas players you think will make it to the 11.
For me, if we are like if we look at a bowling attack that is stacked with Indians, so what I'll do is I'll just pick one bowler,
Okay.
overseas bowler for now. That will be Romario Shepherd because he gives you that added batting advantage, and
Hmm.
he can open the bowling for them also. So he is there. That is the bowler sorted. And I think I'll go if I am their main problem over the seasons has been their middle order.
Hmm.
If you see at SRH, over 5 to 6 years, their middle order has not delivered at all. Okay, so what I'll do this season is that I'll stack up that middle order with Kane Williamson at number three,
Hmm.
Aiden Makram after him.
Hmm.
And then comes in a bit of lefty guile of Nicholas Puran. So
Okay.
I'll go with those three in the middle order, a stacked
Hmm.
overseas middle order, and Romario Shepherd as seven. Those would be my
Wow.
four foreigners.
Brilliant, brilliant. So, well. That's a very nice design actually. I never thought of that. Maybe what I would rather do is I might go in with two players on the top, Romario Shepherd to count as a bowler as well. And if needed, I can go in with three because my Indian core is very strong. I can go
Exactly,
in with
yes.
three overseas, but if needed on a bad day, maybe out of those two, Sean Abbott or Marco Jansen, I might get in a specialist bowler as well because that is an option for us. So for me, the four players might include the likes of the captain itself, of course, Kane Williamson, you can't leave him out. He's the brain, and he has settled in very well with the management compared to the other guy. Okay, let's come back. Yes, so Kane Williamson, of course, and then at number four, it could be the likes of one of the wicket keepers, that is either Glenn Phillips or Nicholas Puran. I still doubt the position of Aiden Markram in the 11. Well, he definitely deserves it 100%. And last season, he had performed very well for Punjab. If one of the openers doesn't get going, he and Shahrukh Khan were the ones who took the team ahead. Even though they
Right.
didn't win, but they at least made sure the fight was tough and wasn't so easy win for the other team. So
Yes.
Aiden Markram, a very good candidate. But again, looking at the squad that they have, it's very hard for him to make it into the 11. Yes. So again, I'll just repeat my four players. It would be Kane Williamson, the captain, at number three, and then Nicholas Puran or Glenn Phillips at number five, Romario Shepherd at number seven, and one of the bowlers, Marco Jansen or Sean Abbott. I might go with Sean Abbott, of course. If not, of course, I would go with Sean Abbott. Looking at the recent performances in Big Bash, and that
Yes.
would be my four players. So now, since we both have different set of four players, what would be your set of 11 going into the game? A very
Uh,
tricky question, a very difficult question,
yes.
but yes, you have to answer it. Come
Yes.
on.
I'll definitely open with Abhishek Sharma and Rahul Tripathi.
Ah,
So I think
perfect
that
right
is
hand left
fixed.
hand
That is
combination.
fixed.
Yep.
That is there. Kane Williamson definitely comes in at three. That is fine. I'll play Nicholas Puran at four maybe because they have bought him for close to 11 crores.
Hmm.
So, like if you are investing this much amount of money in a single player, he has to be in your 11. You have thought something and invested that much in a player. So
Of
I would
course.
say Nicholas Puran comes at four.
Hmm.
Uh, as you said that on a bad day we may need a overseas bowler. So maybe we can. I'll also go with two batsmen, and we can
Hmm.
add in Samad at number five.
Uh-huh.
Samad comes in at number five. so he
Yes.
can give you that big success in the later stages of the inning. Number six would be Washington Sundar
Mm-hmm.
for me. No, spin all rounder. Number seven will be Romario Shepherd,
No
fast
brainer.
bowling all rounder. Yes. Number eight, I would go with maybe Suchit.
Mm-hmm.
Number eight, he gives you the finger wrist pin.
He
Hello,
does,
I
yeah.
mean yeah, and then there is number nine. I would go with Jensen because I'm going with two bowlers now to
Mm-hmm.
balance out a bit. Because then, if one of the Indian bowlers has bad days, you can have a
One
foreigner who
overseas
comes
bowler,
in.
yeah.
Yeah, yes.
So you'll go
So
in
he
with
will give
Jansen, and you still have
Jensen.
two positions left, right? Okay, let
Yes.
me make this very difficult for you. Let me make this very difficult for you. You have the likes of Umran Malik, you have the likes of Bhuvneshwar Kumar, you have Natarajan, you have Kartik Tyagi, and
Yeah,
okay,
that's
okay.
that. Those
Let's
four
let's
names are enough.
let's just keep it four, and then I'll make you choose any two. What's your
I'll
decision?
say, looking at Bhuvaneshwar's recent
Hmm.
form, okay, uh, I'll not keep him in my 11. Looking at his recent form, okay, I
Okay.
will go in with Umran Malik. I'll go in with because they have retained Umran Malik, okay, and he has got that raw pace, so he
Hmm.
comes in at 10. And 11 is also a bit tricky because they've got Kartik Tyagi. Okay,
Kartik Tyagi, Natarajan. Oh my
and
God.
along with that Natarajan. But then again, for initial few games, like for the first half of the season, as Natarajan has not played that much of cricket over a period of time.
Hmm.
So initially, to see how he gets in, I will not directly throw him into the 11, T Natarajan. He will definitely become a part of the 11 as the IPL progresses.
Hmm.
But for now, I'll go with Umran Malik and Kartik Tyagi, which give you raw pace.
Well, I agree with that, looking at the form and everything, but then there's
Exactly.
no experienced bowler in your team. Even Marco Jansen is
No.
very new, and these two guys are fairly new
Yes,
to
that is
IPL.
there. That is there.
So
That is there.
inexperienced
But
bowling might get hit for
might cause
runs.
them.
You at least need one person who is experienced enough, either of Natarajan or Bhuvneshwar Kumar in the squad, who can at least be there for someone else if needed.
That
Like if
is
it's
there.
a pressure situation, you need a guide in the field. You can't just wait for someone who will be from the outside
Right.
and
That is
helping you. So maybe that
there.
could be a reason why I won't go with both youngsters and even this guy Marco Jansen, because that would make my pace attack fairly new to IPL. But
It
again,
will.
it
Will.
yeah, it completely makes sense because those three are in red hot form. So let's see these guys are performing in the nets, how Natarajan and
Yes.
Bhuvneshwar perform in the nets. So maybe
Uh,
that could be
I,
a
I,
decision factor.
I, mm, I mean, Bhuvi can get into the team. That is there. I mean, even if he's not in the home, he can get into the team. But Natarajan, I would at least give him at least
Two
three
to
to
three
four
matches.
games to just to see, yeah, because just to
Hmm.
see how he's coming in the nets. Because I don't think he has played any cricket. I
For a
don't think
long
he has
time
played
now.
any cricket
Yes, he
for a very
hasn't.
long time. So
And
you
Bhuvneshwar now is
just a
playing, right? Even now for India, Bhuvneshwar is in the
He's
11.
playing, he's
Yeah,
playing,
and
and
he is
he
bowling very.
had good figures. Like he
Yes,
had good
yes.
figures of 1 for 31 in the previous T20. Just that we are used to see Bhuvaneshwar Kumar of Easter
Taking
years
like
who used
two,
to
three, four
two
wickets in
wickets
every game.
exactly in the
Yeah, yeah,
power
yeah. And
play.
swinging
Yes,
the ball like from left to right.
the
And
title winning season for them. Like he used to get two wickets in the power play, and he used to be a completely different death bowler. Beast
mm,
of a death ball. So
yes.
that Bhuvaneshwar we haven't seen in last 2 years. To be
And
very
that's why,
frank.
he has raised his standards so high that even if he's performing okayish
Yes.
or good, we don't consider him to be in the form of his
Because
life.
then what happened? What was the thing is that he was neck to neck with Bumrah at some moment of
Hmm.
time.
Hmm,
He
hmm, hmm.
was neck to
It was
neck
a
with
deadly
Bumrah.
combo. If it's Bhuvneshwar and
Yes,
Bumrah, you won't be able to score more than 70 runs
exactly.
in your
Yes.
last 10 overs to the
Yeah.
opponent team. If
So
it's a, yeah,
looking at that, but he has to slot in, as you said, like that would be a very
one
young bowling
experience,
attack base.
yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah.
right. But what I'll do is I'll at least try this for around 1 or 2 matches at the start,
Hmm.
how it goes. Because at some moment of time, Bhuvaneshwar and Natarajan will be a part of the 11.
Right.
They have to be the
If
part of the,
they are again, that would be the deadly Sunrisers bowling attack because both the
yes,
experienced guys and both the experts in the field. Wow, I would just love to see that. Well, now that you have your 11 ready, mine is quite similar to yours. So maybe I'll just repeat what you said. I'll just maybe give out the names. So Rahul Tripathi and Abhishek Sharma to open, left hand right hand combination, deadly. Then we have captain Ken Mama coming in at number 3. Kane Mama. After him, we have the left-handed wicket-keeper batsman Nick Puran. That's a very strong top four. Given that Abhishek
yes.
Sharma performs, we haven't seen his best yet, but we know he can be deadly
He
because
will,
we have
he
seen
will,
him
he
perform
will.
in the domestic levels. Abhishek Sharma, if he does well, top four, deadly, amazing. Okay. Number 5, we get in Abdul Samad, who is a possible finisher. Then we have number 6, Washington Sundar. We can't keep him away from 11 if he's fit, of course. Number 7, we have Romario Shepherd. So if you see only till now, you have Abdul Samad, you have Washington Sundar, you have Romario Shepherd. They can give you at least 8 overs between
10
those three.
overs.
At
10
least
overs,
eight.
I will
See, 10 overs for sure,
say.
but see, we count in the least,
Yeah,
that is at
yes.
least 8 overs. 8 overs in your top seven, and your four stock bowlers are still remaining. And
Remain.
that's the toughest decision
Wow.
absolutely for me. That's the bowling attack, and that's what Sunrisers favors since forever. And I love that about them. I absolutely love that. Yes. So coming to my number eight has to be one from Shreyas Gopal or Jagdish Suchit. I will go with Shreyas Gopal because the team doesn't have a leg spinner.
Right.
Yeah, and he can bat as well. We have seen him for the Rajasthan Royals. He can score quick fire runs if lucky. So that's Shreyas Gopal at number eight. And now
Now three
I
pieces.
want to stop here, please. I don't want to go ahead.
No, no, no. You have to, because you have got five quality pacers over there, from
More
which
than
you have
five,
to
man.
select.
More than five, and need to choose just three. So, okay. On a very good day, on an absolute beautiful, sunny, bright day, I wouldn't go with any overseas bowlers. Okay. I might go with all Indian bowlers. That's what I am a fan of. I am a fan of. I go in with Bhuvneshwar Kumar. I go in with Umran Malik and one of Kartik Tyagi and Natarajan, depending on the availability. I might play all the 11 matches for Sunrisers Hyderabad with three overseas players, or if needed, I might let Abhishek Sharma out and bring in another overseas batsman who could be Glenn Phillips
Absolutely.
coming in as an opener. That
Yes,
is
that
a
can be done.
high possibility because you have your Indian bowlers
Even,
sorted.
I
Have your
think
Indian
even
bowlers
my
sorted.
for South Africa.
I'm sorry, you just missed out.
Yeah,
Like I couldn't hear you.
Aiden Makram, he
Yes.
has opened for South Africa, so he can
Yes.
also come in as an opener if they need.
So if he is in as the opener, then Abhishek Sharma, I'm really sorry. I feel sorry for you. You'll have to be back in the dugout, waiting for someone to get injured, which hopefully shouldn't
Then
happen.
the point which you made actually is a very good point. You know, they can play their entire season with three overseas. They
Yes.
can play their entire season because that bowling attack is so stacked, so stacked. They don't need two bowlers over there, two overseas bowlers. I think they don't need it.
Absolutely, because one overseas player, that is Romario Shepherd, if he gives you 4 overs, he is a deadly bowler. Man, trust me,
Yes,
he has
yes,
given 2 overs into death to the West Indian team and in his
yes,
team in the
yes,
Caribbean Premier League, and he has done very well. I'm a huge fan of this guy. I think people wouldn't be very familiar with this name, but instead they would be more familiar with this guy, Rovman Powell, which is not in this team, but some other team has
yeah,
picked him for like 4.5 crores something.
yes, yes.
But
Hmm.
I was definitely a very big fan of Romario Shepherd, and he is very well deserving for the 7.7 crores that he has got. So I'm really happy and excited to see him in the IPL.
Also,
Big fan.
like if you see, they have got one overseas player which we missed was the Afghan. He's also a fast bowler, fast bowling all rounder, the Faruqi guy.
Yes, yes,
So,
yes, yes.
so they have filled in with all rounders and bowlers. I think they took that thing seriously, where everyone was mocking them. They don't have a middle order. They don't have a finisher. I think they took that seriously and sorted out those positions really good in this auction.
Mm, absolutely.
Like they have gone in and they have done it brilliantly.
Yes. So that's pretty much it. What I'll do this time around is I'll paste two images, one with your team and one with my team,
Will
and
do.
then let's allow people to vote. And because this time around we have a few different opinions, so we'll let people vote,
Yeah,
on our
the I
Instagram page,
think what we will do is we'll put those also. We'll ask them also what will be their five
their
man
11.
attack. Yeah, no, not
Ah,
11. I think six would be fixed. I think we will go for the bowling
okay.
because that is
Huh.
where it is a very tough question to answer
Hmm.
what the bowling lineup will be. So maybe number 7 to 11, what others are thinking, because I think till Washington Sundar till number six, it is. I don't think there would will be any discrepancies over there.
Hmm.
But the five bowlers which are to be chosen, that is a big question.
No, I
So
think
let's
it,
see
it
what the
should be
audience.
fine. It should be fine till number seven, including
Yeah,
Washington
Shepherd,
Sundar
yeah,
and Romario Shepherd,
Shepherd,
and maybe one
yes.
spinner of. Okay, we'll let them decide. Why
Let them
make it
decide, and we'll
mandatory? Yeah.
paste two teams or what we have selected.
Hmm. Yes,
Yeah,
of
just
course,
to then wrap it up
of course.
again.
Yeah.
I'll go back to how we started. I still haven't got any idea why they let go those two. I still haven't got any idea. I have tried to
Okay,
justify it.
I'll
Maybe
answer them. I'll answer them. David Warner had a fight with Tom Moody, and then they got broke up. Okay, so they didn't want to come back again into a relationship. David
I-
Warner left. Answer to your question one. Answer to question two. This Afghanistani player, Rashid Khan, is looking for more money, and if at all Sunrisers Hyderabad were ready to pay him 15 crores, that would be 15 for him, 14 for Kane Williamson, and 4 for these guys. They wouldn't have enough budget to move into the auctions,
Thank
so
other
that's the
leagues.
reason why they let him go. Well, it's definitely not something that they would miss this season because they have good, very good
Good
players.
lineup. Yes, good
Yes.
lineup. Yes. They will
So
compete. I think they always compete. So even this season they will compete because they, even though when they had teams which were yeah, that is it. That is it. I like if
that's it.
in the previous years also when they had an average squad, I would say average or even below average squads.
Hmm.
It was their bowling which kept them into the tournament. And this season they have even stacked it more. You have got okay. You want a left arm, you have got Natarajan. You want raw pace, we have got Umran and
Umran Malik.
Kartik Tyagi. You want
Yes.
you want experience, we have got Bhuvneshwar Kumar. So you want some overseas play flair, we have got Marco Jansen and Abbott. What do you want? We have
We've
got
got
all the
you covered.
seniors.
We've got you
Yes,
covered. Demand anything,
yes,
we have it for you.
exactly.
Ha.
Yeah, so that's pretty much it. SRH, I think again in the looking at them, I think they will push for the top up of the table.
Very well deserving. But in a way, if we go through all these squads, no, this time around, we'll say this team will make into the qualifiers, this team will make into the qualifiers. Maybe except for one or two teams, maybe not. We will think looking at the squads that every team will make into the qualifiers, and that's the thing about IPL,
Yes.
All the teams are so strong and the competition is so aggressive. It's really hard to
I would
guess
say
beforehand.
that that is the thing about this IPL in particular because the players are
Yes.
spread across 10 teams. And if
Uh-huh.
the players are spread across 10 teams, there won't be a one or two teams that overpowers everyone. So
Yes.
yeah, so I think we have covered pretty much everything.
Mhm.
We were trying to make the video a bit shorter, but it's already I
Uh,
think we have
no, but I'll cut it short. I'll cut it short. I'm
yeah,
expert
yes.
nowadays.
Sure. Kudos
Okay.
to your editing skills.
Just learning, boy. Just learning.
Uh, yeah,
All
one
right.
day we will get there.
So,
Yeah, so
people,
subscribe, like, and share this video and follow Silly Point.
follow Silly
That's it
Point,
right
please.
there. That's it right there.
Right here, right there, everywhere.
Yes, yes. Just follow Silly Point for great insights. And I think we'll be covering this season's IPL also. And there are 80 more teams to go
To go
for
for,
the squad
yes.
review. Yeah.
Mhm.
So definitely. So stay with us